We are live.
Hey, folks! Welcome to our live watch party of the Tesla semi-truck delivery event. I'm here with Wes Wahlin, former program manager of Autopilot at Tesla some years back, and we're just waiting for the show to start.
Tesla always starts on time, so I'm sure it's, it's just a few seconds away.
Yeah.
Or we might have an hour.
We have plenty of time here. So what are we expecting here? What is there any news, anything to like? I mean, my main question is how much like safety type or autopilot type stuff is integrated in the Semi. It's a very different form factor, much larger, right?
It looks like lots of cameras are on the side view mirrors.
Right, lots of cameras. So there should be more views. I would assume there'd be a chin view, trailer view, like in the corners. And so I just wonder how much, like I don't expect anything FSD related, but basic lane keeping, I think would be a real boon for the Semi. I mean, I've driven past trucks and they're all over the lanes, and something locking it into the center of the lane would be great.
I fully expect that. I'm just interested if they'll talk about platooning and if that'll be implemented.
That would be a big efficiency boost. But that requires some communication between the vehicles, I would guess. Actually, maybe not.
It depends how they implement it.
Yeah, it depends how they implement it. I mean, certainly the dynamics of a vehicle like that are very different also. So, the kind of limitations in steering, you don't want to jackknife it or whatever, all those type of things can happen that don't happen in a normal vehicle.
Exactly. This is the only articulated, vehicle that Tesla's ever shipped. So it's very different, materially different. I was thinking the camera placement would have to have some more, maybe a few degrees more overlap to account for that articulation, in a jackknife scenario, or potentially even in a backing up scenario, how the semis have to back into the Sally ports, and it has to be very exact too when they back in there. So I don't know if they'll implement that straight away.
I mean, some automation, like, I'm waiting for them just to get my Model 3 to park right. But some automation on semi parking would be nice.
Yeah, it's a little bit more straightforward maybe with the Semi because it's definitely one thing. They're pulling into one type of a Sally port. That might be easier because you're just mapping for that scene. But I don't know if they'll have that straight away. And I wonder, if they're going to talk about like why Semi is late overall. Like, was it just Model Y that just took the show, and this crazy demand, or was it actual things with the Semi itself? So I'm wondering like how mature the autopilot stack is for Semi.
Well, besides autopilot, I wonder if things have evolved with the 4680s and the different cells, if they held back Semi to, the whole structural pack thing with the Y, maybe some extra learnings, because this is going to be a vehicle that will be driven hard, right? This will be a commercial vehicle with very many miles relatively quickly.
That's my assumption too.
This is a car, and this is a vehicle I've been anticipating and wanting. I mean, obviously I don't want a Semi. I mean, maybe I do, but it's not something I would drive really, but certainly not practically. But in terms of environmental impact and in terms of like actually making some change, like I hate smelling diesel on the road.
Oh, it's huge.
And it's huge. And it would be great if this is the kind of thing, and just sort of proving that it can be done so that the rest of the industry can sort of move.
It's not an imagination of somebody. It's real. Mm-hmm. It can actually be done. Physics is real for the semi.
Now, who's really responsible for the semi? Because some years ago, I remember so in 2013, Jerome Gillum, I believe his name was, he gave a talk at our event along with Elon. And then a couple of years later, he had taken a sabbatical and he sort of disappeared for a while.
Yep.
And in 2015, I happened to be sitting in the lobby of the Tesla headquarters in Palo Alto on Deer Creek. And I saw him walk in and he had just come back from a jog or something. He was all sweaty or something. And so he certainly was back and around. And then I finally saw him again in 2016. I saw you there too in 2016 at the Model 3 launch event. And I saw him and he was kind of secretive, hiding in the corner. I chatted with him. He was a little bit tipsy when I chatted with him. And I was like, so what are you working on? And he was very kind of quiet about it. But later we heard that, he's working on the semi. And I don't think he's there now, but so he was certainly,
no, he's not.
He was certainly working on semi for a bit. And that was back in 2016. Yep. The announcement of the semi was what? That was 2017.
Yeah.
And so it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. And it's been a long time since he left Tesla too. Mm-hmm. But then again, we had the pandemic, we had crazy Model Y demands, like even far exceeding what Elon and team thought they would have.
And they've effectively made a new Model Y in between, right?
Yes, completely. Like they're making that they've made it into a car that can be crazy mass produced at a crazy low complexity. Going to gigacasting. It's just unreal what they've been able to do. Is that the event possibly starting?
I'm not sure. It's just music right now. Oh, here we go. We got something. All right, here we go.
Oh, sweet. I hope we're gonna catch something new here.
Yeah, I'm just hoping not to get a content strike on music.
Oh, it looks like they might be actually starting.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow, 12 minutes late. Good for them. That's so exciting. So excited for them.
I think the door handle Elon driving, and he just slammed on the brakes. Looks like he has a coach.
No, it's somebody bald. No, there's two people in there.
I think that's Elon driving and somebody coaching him.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, he hit the brakes hard. Nice. He's got a semi shirt on. Sweet.
I see some Pepsi branding, Fidelity.
Yeah.
Oh, Frito-Lay. Okay.
All right, welcome to Sparks, Nevada, site of the Tesla Gigafactory and our Tesla semi truck factory as well. So.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 5 years. So we unveiled the Tesla Semi 5 years ago. It's been a lot that's happened since then, to say the least. So we were incredibly excited tonight to actually deliver our first production Tesla Semi trucks. So, and it's right next door to the Giga Nevada, our Gigafactory here, which produces the most number of battery cells in North America. It produces our drive units and battery packs. And so I'd just like to just start off by giving a big hand to the Tesla Gigafactory team and the Tesla semi-truck team. It's like, I think you've had a chance to tour the production line. So,
ooh, that's cool.
Right? Yeah, we're looking forward to actually delivering our first production trucks to PepsiCo. So this is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and also a huge thank you to all of our other customers. I mean, a lot's happened in the last 5 years, and our customers have been super loyal and supportive, and stuck with us and been a huge part of our development. And we're excited to show everything that we've been doing off to everybody tonight.
Great. So let's get started. Yeah. So yeah, sorry for the delay. It's been like sheer amount of drama between this last 5 years ago and now is insane. A lot has happened in the world, but here we are. It's real. So
yeah, we threw a great party a few years back, and trying to do a similar thing here tonight. And Tesla's been growing like crazy. I mean, everybody here has been contributing towards the growth and unveiling awesome products and really scaling us to the point that now we can actually work on semi, and we're really excited to do that. But we've been working a little bit on the background, close to the chest, right level of priority, but made a lot of progress, incorporate a lot of things that we're going to talk about. And at the end of the day, we have not wavered from our mission to build the most compelling, greatest Class 8 truck in history. So we're going to keep putting our foot forward to do that. And yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So,
getting the slides
you
over.
might wonder why build a semi truck.
It's always hard.
Because if you look at the actual unit volume, it's small compared to passenger vehicles. So for passenger vehicles, there's on the order of almost 100 million that are sold every year, and whereas semi trucks, it's like for 400,000 or 500,000.
Not even, yeah, it's a couple 100,000 Class 8 trucks a year.
Globally.
Yeah. Or no, sorry, that's US.
Yeah. So in the U.S. there's called like 15 million passenger vehicles and a couple 100,000 semi trucks. So it seems like a small percentage, but it's actually 20% of U.S. vehicle emissions, because you've got a huge vehicle and it's being driven all the time. So when you factor in the number of hours driven and the weight that it's carrying, it's actually, although it's only 1% of vehicle production, it's 20% of vehicle emissions. And it's over a third of all the particulate emissions. So from a sort of health standpoint, particularly in like cities, this is a huge impact, like it's gigantic. So that's why we're doing it, So, yeah.
Yeah, this is really core to our mission. And to Elon's point, there's a lot of heavy trucks that are deployed in dense urban areas. And so the communities that are around freeways, a lot of where these trucks are domiciled, are going to really benefit, particularly from the particulate emissions reductions, and then just trying to reduce emissions globally. Every truck that we put on the road that replaces a diesel truck is a huge amount of leverage. And so that is why we're doing this, and makes a huge difference towards driving us towards our total mission of sustainable energy and transportation.
Yeah, I think maybe a lot of people don't realize it's actually quite unhealthy to be living next to a highway with diesel trucks, FYI. So being able to make them electric is just going to be just in addition to sort of climate change and global warming matters. It's also quiet, and it's going to improve the quality of your air, and it will actually just fundamentally improve the health of people living near freeways, which is obviously a super big deal. So,
yeah, if anybody's been woken up at a noisy truck delivering in the morning, the quiet will definitely be very welcome. I know I will appreciate that.
Yeah. So,
Agreed.
So we're aiming to cover all major forms of transport. It's just consistent with the Tesla mission, because sometimes I get asked, like, well, shouldn't Tesla just produce like, fast cars or premium cars or whatever? It's like, but what's our actual mission? Our actual mission is to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. So that's why we're making this wide range of cars that don't really make sense from a brand standpoint, I guess, traditionally, but they make total sense when you consider what's the mission of the company. The mission of the company is to accelerate sustainable energy, and so it's super consistent with that goal, and really a crucial piece of the puzzle, and that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, Elon, you first laid this out in Master Plan Part 2, And now we're here to actually make it happen. And everything from the mission side, along with reducing the cost of cargo transport, and also make it fun. I mean, we want to make the truck an awesome driving experience. Make it kick ass for the drivers.
Yeah, I mean, it looks sick. I mean, look at that thing. I mean, you want to drive that. I mean, that thing looks like it came from the future. It drives like it's like driving a Tesla, literally. It's fun. It looks awesome, and there's actually a big shortage of drivers. And so, if you're a truck driver and you want the most badass rig on the road, this is it. So yeah, that's it. It's a beast. At Tesla, we don't make slow cars. We don't make this thing has crazy power relative to a diesel truck. Actually, especially if you're not towing anything, you could zip around like it looks crazy. Basically, it looks like a elephant moving like a cheetah. It doesn't look right, frankly. But this is not sluggish in the least. It's fast. It's fast to accelerate. It's fast to brake. It's really a step change improvement in what it's like to drive a semi truck. When we got three times the power.
3 times the power than any diesel truck on the road right now. So you got all the work, all the power you need to get the job done. But the other reason that it's a beast is because it's also efficient. And you can go 500 miles on a single charge on one of these things. So it's the mix of those two that this is why this is a game changer. And what's awesome is both of those are enabled by our new 1,000-volt powertrain, which is the first vehicle that we're doing with that. And don't worry, there'll be some more vehicles coming with that. But this is going to be a game changer because of all the awesome innovations that have happened, behind the scenes and under the hood, so to speak.
Cool. Yeah. So we're obviously leveraging a ton of stuff that we've already done. So we've got it's now probably 51 billion miles driven. I don't know, it's more every day. So we're using our existing drive units, power electronics, infotainment, our super efficient heat pump, HVAC system, and state-of-the-art inverters. So we're able to leverage the existing powertrain and elements that are already made at volume in order to achieve extreme efficiency of cost and capability. So.
Yeah, and it also means we get to leverage all the reliability that the active car fleet is doing. So we're accumulating all these miles, getting a ton of demonstrated learnings into the field, and we're going to go and put all these trucks into the world and get a lot of learnings as well. But we're coming off of a great launching pad with everything that's done in the rest of our products already. And it's also enabled because Tesla's got this full vertical integration on the software and the hardware side. So the teams that are working together to put all that together into one package, this is a huge win, for all of our products, but particularly semi.
Lots of hardcore testing. So, one of the things about a commercial truck is that the reliability has to be extremely high. So it's got to be running continuously, can't break down. It's got to handle every kind of weather. Uptime is super important for any kind of semi truck. So we've tested durability in every kind of weather, every kind of environment. You could, yeah.
So the bumper's not going to get ripped off in the.
We've driven Donner. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but we've been through hot, cold, snow, rain. We've been putting this thing through all its paces in the lab as well as in the real world. The simulation team has been doing an incredible job of being able to scale all of that, in the virtual side. And the other thing is that we're going to take these and we're going to put our money where our mouth is. And we're going to put these on into our own fleet, into our own supply chain. And we're going to use this to transport goods between our factories and our suppliers because we believe in it, not just from a mission perspective and a cost perspective, but because we want to close that feedback loop. We got to get that learning as fast as we can. We want it straight from the drivers. We want it straight from the service techs that are working on it. We're going to take all that data that's coming in and continue to refine the product and make it better, just like we do on the car side.
Yeah, exactly. So to be clear, these semi trucks are running 24/7 between Sparks, technically in Sparks, not Reno, but most people think of it as Reno Sparks, and Tahoe. And yeah, this is technically called the Tahoe Reno Industrial Complex, or TRIC. Now there's an interesting backstory about why it's called that.
Very.
Yeah. So anyway, Tesla using the trucks continuously day and night between here and Fremont and back again is going to be a great test of the vehicle and will give us a great feedback loop for continuing to improve the product. So my click is sort of not working. There we go. All right. So yeah, we've got a tri-motor powertrain system. So we're using the carbon overwrap sleeve. So essentially, we're using the plaid Model S, Model X powertrain, but we're actually enabling the two of the drive units to actually disconnect so that they're not free spinning. So the efficiency is actually much greater in cruise.
Yeah, this is really unique. I mean, we're going with a tri-motor system. One of them is constantly engaged, so that's for maximum efficiency. You're getting on a highway, that's doing the bulk of the work, and it's operating at the peak efficiency point of the entire drivetrain. And then the other two units are for torque and acceleration. So when the driver needs it to get their job done, whether that's getting out of a loading dock or it's on the road, they need to pass somebody, you're tackling a grade, you have the torque and power to do it. And the cool thing is that these are clutched automatically, so no driver input needed, but it's also seamless. So the highway efficiency unit is cruising along doing its thing, and if the driver puts their foot to the floor, the torque units spin up, clutch engages, and takes over, and it does all of that before we've maxed out the torque on the efficiency unit, so it's completely smooth. There's no turbo lag or jerkiness or anything like that. No driver input needed. It's smooth, both in terms of acceleration and deceleration for regen. It's really cool happening all behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, what I find actually really wild about this is that you can have a truck which is 82,000 pounds. And by the way, the reason we can actually do 82,000 pounds is that there's a 2,000 pound extra that's allowed by law for electric trucks. So you get a little bit of a advantage on the weight side. But you can basically pull 82,000 pounds at cruise using and the only thing that's doing that is a tiny little motor on one axle.
Oh, that big? Well, football size maybe.
Yeah, you can carry it.
Yeah,
like it's like a
I mean, you can check it in your luggage. Good luck doing that with a diesel engine. And one of those is more powerful than a diesel. Yeah.
Yeah, just that one little guy is more powerful than a regular diesel engine on a semi truck. But it's just I find it like amazing that this enormous thing can be pulled by something that you could carry in your hands. It's like, wow, that's power density.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
It's pretty cool.
So yeah, and then in terms of we're putting this to use in the real world. Yeah.
It's on the way to Tahoe.
These demos are so cool.
That truck's clocking it at 82. That's weighing 82,000 pounds. And when you see that pass shot again, you'll notice that speedometer is climbing. We're going 6% and accelerating up that grade. This is where it comes in.
Yeah, it's like driving a normal car, not like driving a truck. It's just that you're moving 82,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any highway grade you come across, you can tackle at speed.
Yeah.
There's no compromise.
No slowdown.
Nope. And the other beauty is that you've got all this power going up, but you also have it going down. And what that means is you've got regenerative braking. So rather than using a Jake brake or engine braking like a diesel truck does, where you have to worry about hitting your shifts. If you miss a gear, you're onto your brakes and potentially in a runaway situation. You don't have to worry about any of that. There's no shifting, no nothing. And so the regen recaptures all that energy as you're going down these grades. But on top of it, it also is a safer system for not just the driver, but everybody on the road because there's no gear to miss.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth reemphasizing that point. Because it's an electric drivetrain, when it goes downhill, or when you slow down, it recaptures the energy of motion or the energy of height. The potential and kinetic energy are largely recaptured. Whereas for a diesel truck, that's not possible. You can't just create diesel. So you just end up heating brakes. And then your brakes overheat and you can't use them. And then it's actually it's pretty dangerous because
the brakes stop working.
Yeah, that's why you have runaway truck ramps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because, so if for any of you that have ever driven I-80 and driven Donner, there's a mandatory brake check stop for trucks down by Emigrant Gap. We've done this, and it's really funny because we'll go over the grade, we'll come down, and we just kind of pull to the side, and we're like, well, there's nothing to check. We've never used the things, and we just keep driving. Yeah.
Yeah. And we get to the bottom of the hill, we have cold brakes.
Yeah.
That's like mind-blowing in the trucking world. So it's like insane, basically. And you've, yeah, so. So it's really worth emphasizing that. That's a significant safety improvement for the truck driver and for other people on the road. We also have excellent traction control because the precision of an electric motor is vastly better than a diesel engine. It's sort of got like I'm trying to think of the right analogy here, but like it's got the precision of like a laser printer. It's not great. It's like really precise. That's what I'm saying. And the reaction is, so it's like you don't have to worry about, like traction control is awesome. It's automatically stopping the truck from jackknifing. It's doing all this safety stuff in the background that just isn't possible with regular diesel trucks. It's a step change in technology in so many ways.
Yeah, and the tight integration with the software team that we have here really makes that happen because it means that we could take all that, the precision, and actually put it to use. It's not some tie-in of some third-party powertrain. No, this is all in-house. As we do this really neat, chassis control work at the brake level, the traction control level, we integrate with our total stability control system and make sure that the driver, has a lot of confidence, but also has everything they need to stay on the road. It's a really nice, neat integrated package overall in terms of software and control, and it's totally seamless to the driver, and it'll be a game changer in terms of safety.
Yeah.
So we talk power. You want to talk efficiency?
Yeah, absolutely. So some people out there say it can't be done. I don't know who might say that, but I've heard rumors.
Bill Gates.
And so we just did it. Yeah. And we're going to post the whole video unedited on YouTube.
Yeah. And
no jump cuts.
Yeah. And this wasn't, some ultra clean, precise test track simulation or something where we, shut down a road. Nope. This is real world. This is over Grapevine. This is with traffic. This is true 500 miles. We were loaded just under 82K. No special aero treatments.
Yeah.
Truck came off the line, shook it down, made it run. That's it.
Yeah. There was like no fast moves here.
Nope.
So to be clear, it's not like, and what tricks did they pull? There are actually a whole bunch of tricks we could have pulled,
Yeah.
and didn't. Like as Dan said, like no special aero treatment.
Oh, and by the way, we should mention there was no charging. Like we charged the
Yeah,
truck.
yeah,
Yeah, we
to be
didn't stop
clear.
the charge. Single
Yes,
driver
one
shift.
charge, exactly.
Yeah.
Good point. So
Minor detail.
yeah. So it's not like 500 miles like with no load, with special aero and special everything. It's like fully loaded, going from the Bay Area. We actually have to like go a bit north to get to actually add to get to 500 miles because you get LA to the Bay Area is less than that.
Well, we went all the way to San Diego here, so we
great.
we
Yeah.
stretched out on the southern end. And I mean, do you want to see on the video? I mean,
Yeah.
we have the proof.
Absolutely. So it's only 8 hours long. So
Yeah.
And where do they charge now?
Don't worry, we brought lots of snacks.
yeah.
But yeah, standard trip. Down the 5, up Grapevine, through LA, traffic, construction. We got the bypass on the way station, but running full 80 or just under 82, full deliveries, nothing to hide.
Yeah, real world. It's
He did take one restroom break for. There is a required mandatory 30-minute break within the first 8 hours of operation.
Okay.
Took a small restroom break, but that was it. Yep.
All right. Cool. So aerodynamic efficiency obviously matters a lot. And you can see it's shaped like a bullet. It's really aerodynamic. and that helps a lot as we get less than 2 kilowatt hours.
2
per
kilowatt
mile.
hours a mile.
Yep. So
And that's the name of the game,
Yeah.
is efficiency there. Yep.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, it's really efficient in every way. And
I mean, the team's done a lot of awesome work. I mean,
Yes.
we went into the wind tunnel with this really cool model, rolling road, the whole 9 yards, and pulled in a lot of learnings and all of our features from the car side that give us such great real world efficiency there, and really want to make sure that the truck and the trailer have to work together. This is a combination. This is not just the truck. If you optimize one, you actually might disrupt the whole combination. And so we spent a lot of time, both virtually, but also in the wind tunnel to make this happen. And really some next level engineering to of everything they had to do there. And it means that we've got a really efficient truck.
yeah.
Wait, so they're selling the trailer too? 'Cause that seems to be variable.
It sounds like they're mated,
It's easier to drive as a Model
which is
3.
interesting.
Like with basically no training, you can drive this. You have to think bigger when you're driving it. But it's not hard to drive. It's really easy. And we put the seat in the center for max visibility, low floor. You can stand up in the cabin.
Yeah, and that's actually like a really big deal. I mean, you're a tall guy, Elon. Like
Yeah.
you're able to stand up just fine. And nice thing is that if you're a truck driver and you're out during the day and it's it's cold, it's snowy, whatever, you can get in and this isn't a sleeper cab. This is a day cab. You can still stand up and you can shed your jacket, put it on the wall, all in the comfort. You can put your coveralls on while in the cab. So if you have to go do a dirty job, you can do that comfortably as opposed to being out in the elements. So that's, that level of space is unheard of. We were able to do that with some pretty innovative packaging. And on top of it, there's plenty of cargo storage, for drivers need to bring any tools, other equipment along. Not to mention, we've got the plugins, the wireless charging, everything they need on the electronic side as well.
Yep.
I'm curious about battery placement.
Yeah, so we've got efficiency in every aspect of the vehicle. I've got one-touch suspension dump, so it's very easy to attach to the trailer. It saves time and money. The fleet's more efficient, and the driver's home sooner.
Yeah, I mean, really, we're trying to extend the idea of this efficiency from not just while you're on the road, but into the yard as well. That's before and after the truck has done its job on the road, because that means that drivers at the end of the day are spending less time at the yard and they're getting home earlier. And it makes their lives easier. We got a light test that's easy to execute, helps with compliance. There's all these little things that the design team really spent their time researching. They did ride-alongs, they studied, they did all this work. It was really cool to watch them put. I mean, I think they even took like a bunch of like the various cups and put them in CAD, and you'll see them like put them in various cup holder sizes and places. They'll like mock up a bag. They'll do all kinds of neat stuff to understand how a driver works throughout the day. And it means that they'll have a more efficient experience overall.
Does that mean they tested pee bottles also?
Yeah. Right.
It's a trucker staple.
Obviously, to charge a truck like this quickly, you need a high-power charger. So we developed a megawatt class charger as it's capable of charging at a megawatt to DC.
Yeah.
And it's our next generation immersive cooling. So
There's
like
V4.
So you don't need like a gigantic elephant trunk of a cable. You can actually have a small cable, and that cable delivers a megawatt. Yeah, with 3x the current density.
I mean, this is really cool stuff. I mean, you're actually immersing the conductor in the coolant, this water-based coolant that we have, and we're then doing some really neat isolation monitoring on the back end to ensure that it's safe and delivering that it needs to. But it means that we can really shove a lot of current in a very, very small place. So, for those that have worked and charged their cars on a V3 supercharger and the cable is nice and maneuverable, it's the same thing here, but now we're just shoving a megawatt through it instead. So, this is key for high power applications like semi. But
at what voltage?
You want to tell them, or do you want me to tell them?
Yeah,
I think he's going to tell us.
It's going to be used for Cybertruck too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So this is coming to our superchargers next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the future of transport obviously requires a sustainable energy infrastructure. So you got to have all aspects of the energy question answered. Sustainable power generation, then you've got to store the power, and then you transfer the power to the vehicle. So the three pillars of a sustainable energy future are sustainable power generation with solar and wind. I'm actually a fan of nuclear, which we should support, and geothermal and many others. But things that are sustainable long-term, but things like wind and solar are intermittent, so you have to have the battery pack to store the energy, so when the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine, you still have energy, and you can also buffer the power so you're not overloading the grid with spike loads.
Yeah, and our semi-customers are actively deploying this today, and we're working with them so that they have the pathway to get towards 100% sustainable future. But we have all of this at our disposal. Commercial solar and Megapack, and the Megapack is great because not only can it do things like peak shaving or some of the other energy modulation, but it also provides a form of redundancy and backup. I mean, if we're going to ask a fleet to take on these trucks and run them, they need to ensure that they're going to be able to charge them and keep their fleet running in the event of a power outage. And that's one of the things that we can do with the Megapack on site as well.
All right. So, and post deliveries are now.
Yeah.
So the same charging connector?
So,
yeah, it's the same connector as that North American charging standard.
Partner. Hey guys. Hey.
Here come the Pepsi folks.
Hey, let's go. So yeah, we completed our first cargo run with a very enormous amount of Frito-Lays, which I'm sure we have a lot of them here. Yeah.
It's so goofy.
All right.
And yesterday, we were actually able to complete our first delivery, compliments of Frito-Lay. We took a truck down to their Modesto factory from here, and one of their drivers, we delivered the truck, they took it over, and they brought back a load of snacks for everybody here to enjoy tonight.
Quality snacks.
Yep. So, big thanks to Kirk and Steven. Yeah.
Do you guys want to say anything?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Look, nothing like this happens without amazing people. And so I just want to thank the people that spent countless hours to make this a reality. That's it. The people.
That's it. I just want to echo, I know a lot of work went into it, and this is fantastic. We're thrilled about the delivery today, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks for letting us be a part of this. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dan.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now we know his name is Dan.
All right.
Yeah, he wasn't introduced.
All right,
Like,
so,
who's that guy?
Yeah, thank you all for coming. It's been a long journey, a long 5 years, but this is going to really revolutionize the roads, and I think make the world a better place in a meaningful way. So thank you for your support through all the years.
Okay, so they didn't really.
We didn't get a lot of details. Any new details, really?
Trying to log down on that. Yeah, no real details. Like, what about autopilot? What about platooning?
Yeah.
And I'm still a little bit wondering about. I mean, the whole trailer thing. Let's see, what are they showing us here?
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of need the trailer, but maybe a standard trailer isn't, materially different.
I mean, semi trucks, when you're moving a load, these trailers are a standard thing. At least the containers are, right? The containers come off the boats. But the trailer needs to integrate with the brakes.
It should be the same. It's their standard connectors to these trailers. They're all Class 8 trailers. But I wonder how different they really are. Like how much do they weigh? Maybe some weigh way more than others, but it sounds like their efficiency is best with their own trailer. I don't know why, because they didn't say any details around that.
Yeah, and I guess just a general. I mean, I don't drive a truck. Right? I don't have that kind of license. I don't really know, but say, you're coming down a hill and you hear it when they downshift an engine brake, that brrr, the really annoying loud thing. But okay, that braking, and similar with regen braking, that braking is coming from the part that's pulling, but the part that's behind them that has, a lot of mass, you got to slow that down too, right? You at least need to.
Yeah. It has brakes of its own. Those trailers.
Yeah, it definitely has its own brake. They connect, they connect lines. But when you do your throttle lift regen, is there something? Is a computer or something saying, "Oh yeah, let's add some brakes on the trailer"?
It's not the accelerometer that applies the brakes on the trailer. It's the brakes that are applied by the driver that augment the braking force. So it's similar to when you pull a big load with just a normal, 2-axle truck. It's the same thing. When you have a big trailer that has brakes on it, it does the same thing. It applies.
So does the driver need to be sure to step on the brake?
Well, when you step on the brake, it adds braking force from the trailer. But it sounds to me like, at least in my experience with the drivetrain of my cars, I'm never using the brakes ever. And I just wonder, they're talking about this Donner Pass 6% grade, and their brakes are cold, then they're not using them, which is pretty sweet. Like,
but I mean, isn't that what causes the trailer to drift around? That's my question.
Oh, you mean the trailer like losing traction? Is that what you're saying?
Not even just traction, but it has its own inertia, right? And you are just decelerating the rear.
Gotcha. That's being monitored by the connection to the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, just like when you ride a bike, most of your braking happens on the front brake, but you need to push your rear brake to keep the rear of your bike from swinging around.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Yeah, and you lose traction, right? Because you lose part of the normal force. So I agree. That would be a major shift in acceleration, right? That'd be a high rate of acceleration change. Let's see. We had a comment. He said, let's see. BitJam says 500 miles times 2 kilowatt hours per mile equals 1 megawatt hour. Is Tesla selling these at a loss? 1 megawatt hour. I mean, that's 10x what's normally going in, like an S, right? I mean, the S is getting around 100 kilowatt hours, right?
Yep. They talked about what the pack level per kilowatt hour dollar is, and it's somewhere around the 60s right now. So $60 per kilowatt hour. So take that and times it by 1,000 for a megawatt. But yeah, I do feel like the prices. I mean, we're talking about the Semi being a couple years late, and we've gone through a lot of inflation. I wonder, what price these are going to be actually sold at.
Yeah. So a lot of questions not answered. What type of cells are in it? Is it the 4680s? Is it a structural pack?
2170s.
Okay, that would make sense because that's where they were starting. But yeah, you thought they would have made that change. So I don't think they have. At this point, they're not adding, like, that 4680 is not giving you any more energy density.
Correct. Yep. There's lots of things that they have left to implement for 4680s.
Right.
And it doesn't sound like they're doing gigacasting. At least they didn't mention it.
No.
So you wouldn't really need a structural battery unless you were doing that.
A question then, we're talking about, the trailer. Is that trailer variable or is it their own trailer? Along with things like autopilot. I mean, you would need cameras back there, right? Or you'd want cameras back there. So how is that done? I mean, you just don't have cameras back there, or maybe there's a remote package you can kind of with some on the back.
Yeah, so I feel like if those cameras are, way out on the side view mirrors, you can do some amount of viewing from the side all the way to the back of that trailer, but you can't really see what's right behind the trailer without the camera there. Yeah, so that would make backing into a Sallyport dock difficult.
Then again, I mean, what are normal truck drivers using? I mean, they don't seem to have a camera back there, and and they manage okay, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not from what I've seen. I mean, you get a really good view of what the Sally Port looks like. I've backed a couple semis up to Sally Ports in my day.
Oh, really?
And I built part of the ABIA, the Austin Bergstrom International Airport, back in the day. And when you go in to pull into a Sally Port, you're not going straight in, you're going at an angle. And so you can visualize it, you can see it. And then you've got these lights, these blinking lights on either side, and you can key off of those to try to, center yourself on the Sally Port. And typically there's somebody who's helping guide you, but that's maybe beyond what they're doing. But if you keyed off of those lights, then you can get pretty close, and you don't have to be perfect. You can be off by up to like 6 inches and be perfectly fine. You just have to be square anyway.
Well, I like that they've done actual user testing or these ride-alongs. They've actually investigated what does the customer want, because this is a very particular customer. Like I don't get that sense. When the Model 3 comes out, I don't have a sense of a ton of market research. I just get a sense of what Elon thinks is cool, right? I appreciate that they've done these kind of research with the semi, and even things as simple as what size cups, right? So that guy's going to be in that truck for a while, and he wants that cup, that big gulp or whatever that needs to fit in there.
Yeah, you don't want to lose those creature comforts that they're used to.
Mm-hmm. So now the range is 500 miles. It looks like the standard diesel semi typically can do 2,000 miles before refueling.
2,000 before refueling?
That was the quick, half-assed internet research. So
wow, that has to be like with like extra tanks on 2,000. Don't they get isn't it like 2 to, depending on how much they're loaded, 2 to 6 miles per gallon? That's a crazy amount of fuel.
Amazing.
Well,
yeah. I mean, the biggest trucks I've driven were, the largest U-Hauls you can get, and they take a long time. I just remember putting in the diesel fuel, having to fill them up. They seem to be really big tanks.
And did they mention? I kind of missed it. I mean, they talked about charging, but they didn't say. He said in the past that it was 400 miles in 30 minutes. But I didn't hear that this go around.
Yeah, I didn't hear any details about the charging. They said a megawatt.
Yeah.
But they didn't say at what voltage, at what current. They said that the lines were cooled. Okay. But
they did say Cybertruck was getting it, which is also super cool.
Okay. Well, so you'd have to assume that Cybertruck is going to have the standard connector, and so it's going to be able to charge at your normal superchargers. So I mean, there's some news came out when Tesla released the specs on this, what are they trying to call the Tesla connector now, this North American charging standard. And they're about, 5 years too late in terms of trying to open it up and get the rest of the industry to move along with it. In that spec sheet that they put out, I don't remember exactly the specs, but it seemed to say that, okay, that connector actually has much higher capability than what it's currently doing, higher current and higher voltage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I wonder, okay, what's the voltage of the pack? They're going multiple packs. Is it stacked? Is this closer to 800?
Yeah, they didn't mention that. They didn't mention how the packs are arranged.
But it's a delivered system now, right? So all those packs exist. So exactly. Why not publish those?
I guess it'll be in the maintenance manual. It'll be published online at some point.
Okay, so we got a question here. What about the Nikola 1? I don't know. That might be a joke question. Actually, I don't know. I guess Nikola as a company is continuing, even though their founder and CEO is convicted. I don't know if he's been sentenced yet, but
it's all good. Obviously, there's other competition as well. There's other companies, Volvo and Mercedes, a few other companies are also producing electric trucks. Nothing can touch the specs that was just unveiled and delivered into production. So we'll just see it, who scales and who is able to get to a good profit margin in order to continue scaling. I mean, that's the name of the game.
Well, I mean, Nikola is a slightly different technology in that they're supposed to be hydrogen. And I was thinking about them when we saw this demo that Tesla showed, because as we all know, or maybe many of us know, Nikola did a demo that was a lie.
Yeah.
It was like they just towed it up a hill and rolled it down the hill.
The SEC is punishing Trevor for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know that. I mean, there's some argument for hydrogen on larger, heavier vehicles. The energy density of hydrogen is very high, but the volumetric density is very low. Volumetric energy density.
Yeah.
And so, it certainly doesn't make sense compared to pure electric or battery electric on passenger cars. Of course, at some point, given a certain energy density of batteries per unit mass, if you want more range, you start to get diminishing returns because you're adding load, right? Mass load. And that perhaps isn't an issue with hydrogen, since again, the energy density is so low, but the cost of the mass of the containment, either it be pressurized vessels or, cryogenic dewars is kind of rough. So I don't know that you can get much. And of course, fuel cells don't have a lot of high, those themselves don't have high energy density. So that has to be backed by battery to give you that power available, that energy per unit time.
And it's just storage.
Right.
Well, it's still the thing that's pushing the vehicle is still an electric motor.
Let's see. Desmo Dog asked, where are the charging stations for these monsters? That's a good question. I'm assuming the way he talked about it, okay, they're also working on getting their customers set up with their infrastructure. And he talked about, solar and mega packs and that sort of thing, so they can sort of have a full cycle in terms of the energy for these things. I'm going to assume it means at their main hubs installing these charging stations, right?
Yeah, they're putting they're putting superchargers in at the Frito-Lay distribution centers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But did they change the name? Because at one point they referred to the superchargers for the semi as the semi chargers, which I thought was a terrible name because it sounds like it didn't quite charge, right? Yeah. Semi means half. So it's like, semi charge. Didn't quite fill it up there. So
I don't know. I don't know if they've changed the name, but that's how they're implementing it. It's similar to how they rolled out superchargers back in the day, where they put them in the highest priority locations. Mm-hmm. And the highest priority right now is the distribution centers of these large companies that are purchasing, multiple semi trucks.
Okay. Let's see. Bogdan says, I recall Tesla saying 5 years ago, their semis are also for renting if you don't want to pay the full price. That's reasonable. I think, well, there are several models already how people use semi trucks, right? Sometimes the driver is leasing their truck, or sometimes it's
leasing it is different from renting it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. What is this about? Let's see. Maxwell Smart, Agent 86 or 99 or 86? 86, right?
Working on his shoe.
Yeah. He says, how about a clip-on mag mount radio frequency rear camera? That's basically what I was saying. Remove it from charge port, snap on back of whatever trailer. That's what I was thinking, that you had some kind of remote camera.
That would actually seem very easy to implement too. So I think that is a good idea. It seems like a proposal worth investigating.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a third-party product that probably already exists for truck drivers, right? Let's see. This guy
Hey,
said,
Doug, I need to bail.
that's fine. That's fine. I think it's a good time to finish up. I think this was an interesting presentation. If pretty light on details, surprisingly.
Yeah, we're going to get a lot more details in the coming days, I think, as these things roll out, especially when we get the maintenance and service manual. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Well, hey, Wes, thanks for joining
Thanks for having me on. We appreciate it.
And we'll see you around. See you around next time. And thanks for everybody that joined with us live. And we'll see you soon. Thanks.